And now coming down the aisle, wrestling podcast at a combined weight of 343 pounds. The Mac of Mac, Robbie Mac, Kevin Laramie. They are the host.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is I'm here to fight, baby. Seth Rollins, get your ass out here, boy.
And get your ass out here, boy. When he's here for business. Robbie Mac, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, baby. How about you?
Baby, I'm good. You know, when I'm here to fight, and let's get down to business.
Would you say you're a prize fighter, Kevin?
I'm a prize fighter, baby. Ooh,
We're
yeah.
obviously referring to this past Monday night's Raw. What did you think?
Not bad at all. I liked a couple different segments that I liked. It was like a different attitude to the show. Not attitude as an attitude era, but different vibe to it. Brock Lesnar turning babyface almost. Yeah, the official turn is not done yet, but you can see seeds that have been planted in that way. And you had like the Big Show coming out and knocking out Ric Flair. Nobody expected Ric Flair to do anything physical. I thought it was actually pretty hilarious, and obviously the way it's finished with Brock smashing everybody, I loved it.
It's been a lot better this Raw that has been probably on in the last 6 weeks, I would say. They kind of had a themed Raw, I guess you could say, which I didn't think they really needed in a go-home show to the Royal Rumble, but I don't think the Raw itself failed to deliver. It made me kind of excited and intrigued about the Royal Rumble, and it's too bad that you don't live in town here, Kevin, because I'm having a Royal Rumble party that you would have been more than welcome to come to, but you're about 800 kilometers away, so that might be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, to drive like what 8 hours to watch a 3 hour show. I think there's a deficit in there somewhere.
A little bit, yeah. You'd have to leave at like 8 a.m.
Plus, on top of it, I'm working until like 11, so yeah, I don't think that's gonna be possible, Rob.
It might be a bit of a trek. It might be a bit of an issue, but
We'll save
anyways,
it for Arlington, Texas next year.
yes, we'll be. You and I have already discussed about going.
Now it's official. WrestleMania 32 will be held in Arlington, Texas, at the stadium formerly known as the Cowboy Stadium, now the AT&T Stadium, with a crowd of probably 250,000 people inside. Well, they'll pump it up, so that's what they'll say probably.
Kevin, that for a football game that fits about 90 to 100,000 people.
I think it's 100,000, a little more than 100,000 for a football game.
So they're going to need a big get to try and fill that stadium.
Yeah.
What can they do? I know it's a year away, but what the hell can they do?
I have no fucking clue.
Um,
Even a Stone Cold. No,
I was
you
just
can't
going to
do
say
that.
Stone
You-
Cold,
you
yeah.
can't do that. No, I don't think it would work. He's always in the public eye, so it's not like it's somebody coming back. It doesn't have the impact because it's been so long that he hasn't been doing wrestling, but because he's so present in the public eye with his podcast twice a week, with his 3 reality TV shows on the Redneck channel. Oh, I'm sorry, the CMT. But yeah, so with him really being that busy, he's always in the public eye. I don't think that would fit, and I don't think he would actually be that over to fill that stadium. I don't know about you.
Well, Kevin, as you know, a lot can happen in a year. My friend Brett and I will be also attending WrestleMania next year. It's gonna be a fun little weekend. I know you and I are gonna do some stuff down there. Brett and I are gonna drive down, so we can do like a road trip report on the way to WrestleMania, which would be kind of fun. So yeah, I'm already looking
Are you
forward to
gonna
that.
take like a month off?
To be honest with you, Kevin, Texas will probably take
3 days?
No. We drove to California in like probably a day and a half to 2 days.
How can you drive to California in 2? It takes like a week.
If you first, okay, so we left Brantford about 5 a.m. and we drove from Brantford, and we got to Lincoln, Nebraska at about 10, 11 o'clock maybe. Stayed the night there. And then the next night, then we drove to Vegas and got into Vegas. It took us about 21 hours to get to Vegas, and then we stopped in Vegas for the night. And then the next day, it took us about 8 hours to get to LA. So yeah, it's about 2.5. It was about 2.5 day drive.
Yeah, you
Altogether.
drive way too much in one day. You can't drive fucking 16 hours in a day.
No, it's don't get me wrong. It's a lot of driving. Texas is not as far as California, but you keep talking here, and I'm going to look it up to see how long it would actually take to drive to Texas. Okay?
I got a better plan for you. I'll just take a cab to maybe 30 minutes from my place. Go to something called an air fucking plane, and I'll be there in a couple of hours. Well, 4, not even 3.
Yeah, but when you're looking out the window, what the heck are you going to see? You're going to see clouds. I think all.
No, I'll see the entire United States. When I went to San Francisco, I've seen like plains. I've seen Rocky Mountains. It was sick when I took the plane to go to California. So I probably going to be the same going to Texas.
Okay, well, we'll see who has more fun then.
Yeah, let me know whenever you have to pee and you can't stop because there's no exit for 100 miles.
Okay, actually, so the drive from Brantford to right to AT&T Stadium is 20 hours and 41 minutes, which is actually
It's not too bad.
it's not too bad at all, and it's shorter than the drive to Florida, which I did in the summertime.
Yeah, I did it. I did it in the bus like 20 years, no, 15 years ago.
So there you go.
That was hell.
Why don't you take a train here, and three of us will drive down together.
We'll see about that. Let's just make sure that at least we'll be in Texas to watch WrestleMania 32. And now,
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
yeah. So, Brock Lesnar, that Raw Monday. I just love his opening segment. A lot of people gotta say stupid, but just the way he used baby. If you would have told me this like Monday morning that I would hear Brock Lesnar say the word baby, to utter the words baby out of his mouth many, many times, I would never believed you.
And not only that, but if you told me that Brock Lesnar would do more talking than Paul Heyman, I wouldn't have believed you either.
And be good at it. Like good at it.
Yeah. Well, you forget that Brock Lesnar, he was a. It's not like the guy can't cut a promo. You know what I mean? I know he's always kind of been paired up with Paul Heyman, but the guy can talk.
Yeah. Well, he actually did pretty well in that promo then, and even when Triple H came out, he's, are you here to fix this, or are you here to fight? Oh, that tension! Oh, I don't know if it's a scene planned for further on, but that tension was palpable in that arena.
Well, let's face it, Brock Lesnar is done after WrestleMania, so
Who knows? I don't know now. I don't know about that.
I would be
Seriously, I
shocked
don't
if
know.
he wasn't. So, and as far as a send off, I think maybe is he going to be babyface at WrestleMania?
Who knows? I don't think so. I still want to see him versus Daniel Bryan, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Do you still think it's going to be Reigns, or do you think it's going to be him at all? Do you think Brock is going to be the champion at all now?
You would have asked me Sunday, I would have told you different. Last Sunday, I would have told you different thing. But with the way fucking Reigns was booked on Monday, and with the way they pulled it off, it actually worked. I don't know, man. It's like Reigns is back on track. 5 weeks of bad promo, all erased with 10 seconds of him coming down to save the Nature Boy.
So, okay, so let me ask you this: do you think the title match goes on before or after the Rumble match?
I think
Because that's telling. That's pretty telling if the placement in the card.
if it happens before Brock retains.
Yes, I agree.
If it happens after, it's either Cena wins or Rollins gets it. But I don't think it's going to be because of that match that it decides if it's before or not. I think the Rumble himself can decide it. If Daniel Bryan wins the Rumble, that needs to be the last images you see before the credit on the pay-per-view. If
Now,
somebody else wins the Rumble and people shit on it like last year, you need the main event to happen after.
yeah, 100%. And To be honest with you, Kevin, I thought that this Rumble was going to suck because I thought it was just going to be a predictable Roman Reigns win. Now, it still might be a predictable Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan win, but there's ways that they can go now. I've heard rumors of turning Roman Reigns heel and aligning him with Paul Heyman.
I heard rumors that's all show Rollins and Lesnar will team up and just beat the shit out of Cena and Lesnar retains.
And I've also heard Rollins teams up with Heyman. I've heard Lesnar turning face. Cena pinning Rollins. Lesnar going nuts, beating the shit out of Cena. Rollins tries to cash in. Randy Orton stops. There's a billion ways you can go with this, and I just hope none of them end with John Cena walking out of the Wells Fargo Center with the WWE Championship.
And with the confidence we have in WWE because of the last couple of years, guess what we think is going to happen at the end of the pay-per-view?
I'm assuming John
Cena's going to walk out with the fucking belt.
As long as they know where they're going with this, as long as this isn't... Can you imagine if we had to see a John Cena, Randy Orton main event at WrestleMania?
I would shoot myself. Or I just won't watch it. That could be the straw that bring the camels back.
I might be done with wrestling.
Like, we'll still do the show, but we'll be talking about just really, we'll just join the Labs fan and just talk about their shows.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. There's a lot of ways
to do that. They can't.
No.
Seriously, they can't do that. Can you
What
imagine
makes
if
the
the
most
first
sense?
thing happens, the Rumble, Orton wins? No. We're like, okay, that can't be. No, that can't be. Then Cena wins. They're like, fuck off.
What do you think's the best plan? What's the best plan for business?
Right. We did it in our Royal Rumble prediction show that you listened to last show we did. We talked about what could happen. What's best for business right now for me, what I think, is you fucking turn Brock Lesnar face by being him like Goldberg, but a different type of Goldberg because he's a legit badass. Just having mangle somebody. Having somebody that you won't see for a while. Somebody that needs time off. Let's go with Brock. Then you'll get your time off. In the words of CM Punk, you might be more injured before you get your time off, but hey, you'll get that time off then.
So, at the end of the day, so we both agreed that we, under no circumstances, do we want to see Orton and Cena fight at WrestleMania. But do you think Orton makes his reappearance at the Royal Rumble?
Oh yeah, he'll be one of the 30 guys, but he's not gonna win. He'll be eliminated, and yeah.
Or do you think he even is in the Rumble match and just fucks over Rollins in some way?
I don't think so, because the Rollins and Orton wasn't really a feud yet. It was just like bad blood brewing, but it's been almost forgot about now.
Yes. Speaking of things that were almost forgot about, Sting making his Raw debut. What did you think?
Except the fact that he was wearing fucking red patches and the red... Wasn't the Wolfpack reunion tonight or something? Did I miss anybody else?
Sting.
Did I miss anybody else dressed in fucking red? Look, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck, dude? Okay, you dyed your hair black. Good job. Why did you... What the fuck are you doing? I know you want to have a different look because it's WWE. But did you have to just... All right, I'll open my closet. I can't put the surfer thing, dude. Oh, I had this jacket of the Wolfpack that I never wore. It says NWO on it. No, that will work.
Speaking of the NWO, Kevin, when the NWO came out, did it make any sense to you that Hogan was in the building and they decided to go with Hall, Nash, and Six instead of the fucking 3 original members of the NWO, Hogan, Hall, and Nash? That made no sense to me at all. I know you used Hogan earlier in the night.
What?
But...
Six Pack wasn't a third man? I thought that's why it was called Six, because it was the third man.
No, Six wasn't the third man.
It was a 6-man, fuck.
Yeah, he was the 6th guy to come in the NWO, but when they came out on Raw, the 3 of them came out together. Like, you really didn't include Hogan in this? The guy who was probably one of the biggest factors in the NWO?
Who else was going to put over Daniel Braxton Jack?
Daniel Bryan Jack.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan Jack.
He must be a new talent.
Everybody made that joke on every other podcast.
Yeah, I know. What do you think of the Ascension?
Okay, first of all, I need to get the name straight. Who's the small guy? Who's the big guy?
The big guy is Connor,
And
and the smaller guy with long hair is Victor.
Victor can't talk for fuck's sakes.
No,
Never given a mic in his hand ever again. It's the worst. But he's a good wrestler. The other guy, he can talk, but he can't fucking move.
I think people are shitting on the Ascension, and I don't know why, because I think it's a pretty cool throwback.
I think it's made to be that way.
Yeah,
Especially you saw that Monday when they started fucking. The crowd was literally, "You suck, you suck."
yeah, because some people were mad that they insulted the Legion of Doom, but you know what? I don't think they're really insulting them. It's more of honoring them.
No, Rob, it's a parody gimmick. That's what it's made for. That's what it's there for.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
No,
to me, it's more of an honoring.
No, not as an honoring. They're there just to get beaten. They're just there for a short period of time to get that pop and get beaten by the Outlaws at the Royal Rumble.
I do not think the Outlaws. I will be shocked if the Outlaws win at the Royal Rumble.
No, the Outlaws are just a pretext that Ash and Smash are going to show up or something.
Well, we know the Road Warriors can't show up.
Oh, a Road Warrior can.
Animal can. Unfortunately, Hawk is no longer with us.
No, of course.
Maybe the Powers of Pain.
No, but
They're both still around.
Ash and Smash. Bring Demolition.
I think Axe, from
Crush
what I
is
hear,
dead, the other guys are there.
Axe is, I think, is about 1,000 years old, so I don't know if he can, if how mobile he would be.
No, not have him wrestle. You just have them beat the other guys. The other guys don't touch them, so you can do that.
You could, but wouldn't it be more
Just
fun
like
for them to
JBL,
wrestle?
like JBL just clotheslined the fuck out of one guy tonight. He's fine. You could just have him do that.
JBL would be a guy I would love to see back in the ring, by the way.
No, you don't want to wish that on anybody. He's gonna get him fucking injured. Speaking of somebody back in the ring, and I just noticed something tonight. Bad News Barrett is really small now. He has almost no muscle mass compared to before. He's really lean, but not lean as not a lot of fat, but more lean as doesn't look to have a lot of muscle. It really looks kind of weird to see him that way now.
Well, maybe he's just changed out his workout regimen too, because
I think
he's
it's just
been
he
injured.
couldn't really work out for a little while because of his injury.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
It just looks that way, but he looks weak. Not weak as in not good, but weak as in not strong.
Now, Kevin, speaking of Bad News Barrett, do you realize he is the Intercontinental Champion?
Yes, so it means he's going to lose every single match he's going to have for the duration of his title hold.
Get rid of the title. It's meaningless at this point.
Yeah, it is.
And the Intercontinental title.
I think it's a
title
rib.
seems to
I think that
be
title's
so
a
low.
rib now.
You know what I mean? So, like, they can't retain a champion, and the only reason why the U.S. title doesn't look too bad right now is because Rusev's protected because of his character.
Yeah, that's why the title looks so decent. But before that, do you remember Dean Ambrose was the champion for about 2 years, and he defended the title, twice?
About that, I would give or take.
It was,
What do you-
it was an accessory, not even a title.
Speaking of Rusev, what do you think his role in the Rumble is going to be? Do you think he's going to be the guy who eliminates like 10 people and then everyone in the ring tries to get him out? Like, what do you think? How do you build? Rusev's not going to win the Rumble, but how do you continue to build him strong?
Well, according to R-Truth, if he brings some ice cream, everybody else is going to be busy with apple pie. Altogether, they can have a pretty nice, decent potluck.
Yeah, that actually would be a lot of fun. I'd love to see a potluck Royal Rumble. Everyone has to bring a food item before they get into the ring.
There's that in a crazy food fight.
But
Bring Sable
honestly,
back.
Rusev,
But don't
I
bring
think-
Sonny. That's too much drama.
I don't. I think they have a better chance of bringing back Sonny than bringing back Sable. Her and Vince McMahon, I don't think are on the best of terms.
Yeah, but when you bring back Sonny, you have to deal with the whole crazy thing going on. So you don't want to do that either.
I think she's clean now.
Sure, just go check her Twitter feed. She might be clean, but it's just so weird and full of drama.
Oh, yeah.
I try to follow her from time to time, and it's just so much drama.
Is it?
You know,
But name a woman
that's what
that isn't
happened.
Kevin.
You know, that's what happened when you try to get people to have a Skype conversation with you and pay for it. And when you say you're done to that, they just want to continue to call you. So yeah, there's a whole weird vibe when she talks on Twitter now.
Wait a minute. And she was getting people.
Oh,
she was
you
charging.
do not know that.
No,
Oh, the last year and a half, she's been having a Skype sex relationship with people for money.
really.
Yeah, just if you really want to do that to yourself, you can always Google it and go to Google Images, a couple of images that you won't be able to. They'll literally be printed on your retina.
Oh, well, I don't think that's any problem in my world. Speaking of things that happened,
I
and I
hear
don't
you
know how
typing right now,
I
frantically.
don't, I don't know how we segue into this. Did you hear about the crying kid at Raw on Monday?
Apparently not.
So there's a kid behind right behind where the commentary booth was, and I guess when Triple H and Stephanie came out, the kid started crying, and Triple H, WWE's not showing this, but you can find it on the internet. It's actually pretty big. Like, it showed up on like Yahoo News. That's how I seen it. Triple H actually broke character and went and talked to the kid and like hugged him, which I thought was the stupidest thing ever. And then this kid not only got a bunch of John Cena gear, but he got to go backstage after the fucking event and meet wrestlers.
You know what I think I need? You know what I want to see to happen?
What's that?
Bring that kid, put it back in the middle of the ring, have John Cena come out, and have John Cena turn heel on that fucking kid and clothesline the shit out of him.
I think the kid might jump off a cliff. But this thing bothers me for a few
That's
reasons.
I'm just kidding, by the way. Don't
This
no
thing bothers me for a few reasons.
broke
First of all,
kayfabe in front of millions of people. At least, good thing they were in camera, but in front of thousands of people.
well, there's pictures and stuff. There's pictures on the internet. But not only that, but the whole point of Triple H being a heel is people aren't supposed to like him, and this teaches this kid. I don't know, maybe this is me being facetious, and maybe it's just me reading too much into it. But this teaches this stupid kid that in life, if he cries, he's just gonna get stuff that he wants.
Yeah, don't you know that's the story of the whole generations? It's
Mm-hmm.
already done. Like, damage is done, Rob. They're already fucked for the last 20 years. Don't forget, it's the same people that whenever you tell them you go to school, they have a bad grade. They go to home and like, Dad, look at my grade. When I did that to my dad, if it wasn't good, he would yell at me. Now when that
Oh,
happens, they call the teacher and be like, change my son or my daughter's grade.
there's no fucking point for school. You could just look up any answer you want. It's in the palm of your hand, for Christ's sakes.
Well, yeah, first of all, let's not get into a philosophical debate here, but what you say is true. Like, you don't need to learn shit now. You need to learn how to find shit now. But it's totally true. The way we learn shit needs to be rethink.
The only thing that school is good for now, Kevin, is learning social skills. That's it. Socially.
And to have, well, more than that, but like you have a school to teach people morals, socials, etiquette, how to be civil and polite in society, how to actually behave in society, and how to
How to
talk properly. I know we're here,
how
we
to
swear a
how
lot, but we do know how to talk properly. I studied Shakespeare, for fuck's sakes, in my entire high school. So there's a way to do things properly that have been forgotten. And now that you can know anything you need on your hand, I think school should be able to teach that.
And how about this? How about also including tipping 101? Teach kids how to fucking tip when they go out.
Sure, but yeah.
Well, that was just kind of for you and me and all of our hospitality friends out there.
Of course, but if I could tell something I would like to my son or my daughter not to be a waiter. I'd like her to be at least a wrestler or something that important in society, you know?
Yes, I agree. I agree. I think we've gotten a little off topic here, but
Yes and no, right? Anything you're doing is trying to make people a star, and that's basically what we're trying to do. We're trying to get over. And that's
exactly,
the world of professional
that's right.
wrestling, world of restoration. It's all the same thing. Just trying to get over.
So okay, so backing up here, we were talking about Sonny, then we started talking about some crying kid.
Yeah, you see what happens when you talk about Sunny? It always goes into a very deep and weird black hole.
It goes into a dark place.
Yeah, it used to be so nice. And now, look at what years, dude. Fucking Father Time. I hate that guy.
He's catching up with all of us, Kevin.
I ever see him in the street. He got another one coming, I tell you.
We can give him like an Ascension, their move, Fall of Man. We can give him that if you want.
Yeah, because I was bred to shred. Don't you know that?
Yeah,
At least his delivery
that's what.
was good.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
Go,
It wasn't as bad as
let's.
I think he
You're,
got it from the Roman Reigns school of promos, but it wasn't
ah,
horrible.
suffering succotash, son. Meets the sun at the end. Suffering succotash, son.
So okay, so Sting we kind of touched upon.
Let's go back to the Ascension. What I was gonna say with
Okay,
the Victor and Connor, the guy had a good delivery on that. Were bred to shred, and then you can see the crickets, but he stayed his ground. It's not like the other guy who, when he was talking, he's almost like shaking in his voice. We're the best tag team in the world. Yeah, the guy's shaking in his voice. Come on, at least the other guy was a little bit believable. But in that segment, of all the legends we saw tonight, one of the youngest one is X-Pac. And if you would have asked me which one looks the oldest or the more battered by life, you know what I would say?
what's that?
X-Pac.
Yeah, him and Scott Hall definitely look the most seasoned.
At least when Scott Hall opened his mouth, you can tell that he had all his wherewithal and all his wits there. And he was
Yeah,
quitted.
and the only reason why
Same
Scott
for
Hall
Kevin
looks
Nash, by the way, who is still funny and still buries people, but still actually does it pretty well.
And the only reason why Scott Hall looks like the way he does is because he battled addiction, and he just recently to turn it around, right? So of course, he's going to look kind of shitty for a while, but I mean, I know he's on his way back well, I know he's at his recovery, but obviously that's a long hill to climb. So
It's a constant day-to-day struggle.
of course it is, and I guess for Scott Hall, you're as old as you feel. So if he feels young, he sounds like he's doing a great job. All the power to him.
Yeah, there's another thing that we keep talking about every time he pops up on television in the last couple of years. It's, fuck, that guy doesn't know how to dress. And since when did Shawn Michaels get that Hunter gimmick? But not Hunter as Triple H, but Hunter as, like, he kills defensive animal, apparently.
And not only that, but these stupid panels are just so fucking stupid.
At least that one had a purpose, though.
It did, but I mean, it's you have these guys at your disposal. Use them for something else. They just look stupid. Shawn Michaels, yeah, I'm assuming that he dresses like that to help push his TV show.
Yeah, but fuck, it's ugly.
Yeah, I don't think he's going out for any GQ Fashion Awards, but yeah, it doesn't look too good. What did you think of the Hall of Fame panel, anyways?
Well, Byron Saxton sucked.
Yeah,
The question they asked, like the first question, what do you think about the situation going on? You think John Cena should? And what we had as an answer is yes, no, and yes, Jack. That was all right. And then you had Shawn Michaels trying to make jokes through all the segment, and to me, it killed it. And the worst part of it is at the end of that small segment, when Ric Flair started to act up, and you see at HBK right behind Ric Flair, just making that fake afraid that Shawn Michaels kidding, because we know his mannerism, because we've seen it for 20 years. We know when he's really into something, when he's making fun of something. He did so much comedy with DX that we can see through him in his comedy, and he just did the fakes. You could tell he was, and it just killed it for me. I thought it was bad because of that. Otherwise, I know we talked about Big Show, how many turn he did, but this time as a heel, Big Show's actually doing a pretty decent job.
yeah. I'll give credit where credit is due. Big Show played his role very well on the show when he came out and he knocked out Ric Flair. I like the promo that he cut, saying that he beat Hogan in a show that you and I have reviewed, 1995 Halloween Havoc, and then how he took Ric Flair's spot. And I thought it was a very, very good, well done heel cut promo, and I did not hate the Big Show on this Raw. On most nights where I want the Big Show to let's see, I would like the Big Show to have a big case of diarrhea and not show up.
And then you know what happened? Roman Reigns came in and did not speak a single fucking word.
which is the way it should be, Kevin, because he got a huge pop. He didn't fuck it up by opening up his mouth, and I think WWE is starting to realize, like, okay, this guy can't talk. We can't put a mic in front of his face, so let's play to his strengths.
You know what I'm wondering? Who's in
What's
charge
that?
of continuity? Because you go from a week ago, he was doing Looney fucking Tunes reference, and the next week he's booked Goldberg style. Uh, what happened there? And you can't tell me it's the same person did both. And we know that the person who did make him do the Looney Tune one is Vinnie Mac himself. So who wrote today's show? Who was in charge? Because it doesn't seem to be the same person. It can't be.
No, I'm assuming there's 300 people in charge of that. I think they have like 5 scripts for each Raw, and then they just close their eyes and we'll go with this one tonight. And then
Oh fuck, that was a dream sequence. He's gonna kill my character. Oh no. That's not a dream sequence. That's a coma sequence. No, it's
yes.
a blue page. Oh, blue page is when I'm drunk. Stupid scripts.
Blue Trade. I didn't know that Blue Pages when you were drunk. You've taken like creative writing and stuff, haven't you?
Um,
Or you have some sort of experience in it.
yes, but that was all freestyle. Who does color
Oh.
coding anymore, anyways?
Soap operas.
Who does soap operas anymore, anyways?
Well, that shit's still on.
Fucking Target closes and there's still soap operas on TV? There's something
Yeah.
wrong with this world, I tell you.
The Target was never. Do you guys have any out in Quebec?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
A big,
Or what's it
huge
called?
store with half shelves.
What's it called? Target out there.
No.
No. Well, Target was just not going to work in the Canadian market.
No, because you know what was cool about Target?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there was none in Canada and it was all American stuff that you can get in them. So when you
Yeah.
went there, you had like, oh, all stuff that I can't get here. And us stupid Canadians, when we heard about Target in Canada, like, hey, let's go to Target and get all the stuff we couldn't get before. Oh, wait, if they're in Canada, they have to get supplies in Canada because of the rules and regulations we have. So all the stuff that I couldn't get, I still can't get. Why would I go to Target?
Oh, yeah, we have a Target style store.
It's called
in Canada.
Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Target is more appealing to Americans because of course you can offer the same prices that Target did in the U.S. because of the dollar and the economy and whatnot. Though I feel bad for the 17,000 people that are losing their jobs, but it was just a bonehead move to bring it up
In
here.
a way, yes and no, but the majority of those jobs were part-time job. And no, on top of that, there's minimum wage. So those people can probably get the same job or probably a better paying job somewhere else if they can find one. So I feel bad, but I don't really feel bad because it's not like they're missing a huge opportunity either.
No, that's true. Well, we just hope that I'll just say it on behalf of Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast. I hope everyone who was affected by the Target closing lands back on their feet very, very soon.
And on behalf of every wrestling toy collectors, fuck Target. They had nothing worthy anyways. So yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, Kevin. Where is the best spot to go for wrestling figures?
Not in Canada.
Because when I was a kid, and when they had the Hasbros, which were probably the most popular for people our
When
age,
you were a kid, it was LGN.
those are the big rubber ones, right?
Yes.
I started more collecting figures after that when they were the Hasbro figures. I had a few of the LGA ones, but my bigger collection was like I used to remember when I'd visit my grandma a couple of times a month, and she would always take me out, and we'd go to Toys R Us and in Hamilton because we didn't have one in Brantford, and I get to pick out a new wrestling figure.
Okay.
We have a Toys
I
R
think it's time,
Toys R
Rob.
Us in Brantford now.
I think it's time. It's been it's our 26th show. I think it's time I do my coming out here on Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast. So,
I always knew it.
so for everybody here listening to this show, yes, it's true. The rumors are true. What you heard about me is true. I do have some pastime that might be questionable if you don't know me. Yeah, you might judge me if you can see me what I do with my money. It could be questionable. Yes, I do indeed. Like small plastic men. I do indeed like cardboard ladders and light. I am a toy wrestler collector and I do like to have a small arena, build stuff like that, and I did a pretty decent set, and Rob has actually saw a couple pictures, and it's
Yeah.
something I'm building eventually to have a nice, decent set to have in the background. If you're looking at the video we did on Down the Out Wrestling Podcast YouTube page, you can see there's a couple of what I have, but eventually in my studio when I do the wrestling show, there's going to be a background that's going to be a wrestling scene. It's always going to be a historical move or historical something being recreated. It's going to be a type of hidden Easter egg, and question will be surrounding it eventually in the future in 2015. So that's part of the studios that I'm building, and it's going to be the set in the background whenever we do Down the Aisle videos.
Yeah, I've seen the setup that you got so far, and it is quite impressive. And I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. What you spend your money on,
Of
you
course,
should
wow,
whatever
I still
you.
have plenty more. Anyways, if it wasn't for the fucking WWE stock, keep fucking going. You know how? Okay, here's irony for you.
Mhm.
If you had to guess, what was the amount of the WWE Network stock at the close of the market yesterday? What would you say?
Well,
Knowing the
I'm
WWE for the last 10 months.
okay. So I'm not very adverse
No.
in the stock market.
What price would you think it is?
$3 a
No,
share.
no, no. Think about it. It's the WWE.
Oh my goodness! Was it $9.99?
Yes, for fuck's sakes.
That's
I
hilarious.
know, that's irony for you. And it's the lowest in 3 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's good. We'll see a peak a little bit now because of WrestleMania time, but those numbers shouldn't be trusted because, of course, there's going to be a peak now wrestling time. But anyways, back to my original question, Kevin. Where is the best place to get wrestling figures, and what do you look for when you're buying a wrestling figure in general?
Okay, there's many different type of. We're just gonna talk about WWE, okay? Because that's the most
Okay.
what people collect. There's different series and quality from each and every one of them. I don't. If I were you and me, don't waste your money on anything but either Mattel Elite or Mattel Defining Moments, WrestleMania Elite series only, because those are figures that are beautiful to look at, that are realistic, that have 24 points of articulation, if not more, that have accessories that are scale-wise, that can move correctly, that you can do moves with them in your diorama or something. You can always buy the WWE series. There's like 48 series now. You have everybody. They're a lot cheaper. They're like 12. They're like $15 at the store, $10 on Ringside Collectible. They look decent from far, but you can't move them really properly. You can't do a move. You can't put the leg to do a kick and stuff like that. And when you're trying to do a diorama, you can really tell. But I forgot to say the price of the Elite when they're brand new. It's $30 each.
Okay.
So it's pretty
Because
expensive.
I've kind of expressed interest in kind of getting to the ringside, into collecting wrestling things. But the thing is, I don't know where to start. So, Kevin, if you have someone who's a brand new collector, hasn't picked up a piece of wrestling merchandise,
I don't have a lot.
where do
I
they
have
start?
like 5 things. I don't have a lot.
But where do they start, and where do you go first? Like, what do you look at first? Now, you mentioned these two series of wrestlers. Why these series of wrestlers and not like another Elite series? Or do you start with the first Elite series and work your way up?
There's
Or
a
do you
lot.
just...
You can't find them really in stores in Canada. That's the thing. You need to order them. And
Okay.
there's a price point to that. It's not cheap to order stuff, and there's shipping costs included. And the toys are not that light. Like I bought the ring. I was done with the ring because the ring is a centerpiece of it all. You can try to build the ring yourself, but it'll never look quite right. And just
Yeah.
go to ringsidecollectible.com or wrestlingfigs.com, wrestlingfigures.com. It's all the same place. Go there. Get the WWE Authentic Scale Ring. It's not the ring you get at Toys R Us. That's a foot by a foot. It's 22 inch by 22 inch. It's made for scale for the 6-inch Mattel Elite Series, but all the Mattel are about the same size, but it's made for scale to that. It's huge. It's about 22 inch, which is pretty huge. And it comes equipped with a turnbuckle, and it looks the same as the ring on TV. So you get the right look right away. And then just get a figure or two. You start. If you like the way it looks, you can always get more. The more you get, the more you want to get. That's the thing. And now the series that comes out, there's the Hulk Hogan defining moment is when he fought, I think it was WrestleMania 4 or 5. It just looks the same. You get, he's got the Hulkster tank top that you can take out. There's accessories that you can take in out. Some of them come with belt. The Cesaro comes with the fucking Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. There's really cool figures out there.
And it sounds like, because I've checked out Ringside Collectibles, and there's just so many things you can get lost in, and you're like, holy shit! If I had like an endless supply of money, I would have everything on this
But
website.
you know what's part of the fun too is that here in Canada, some stores do carry the Elite Series, some don't. Some carry nice stuff, some don't. But it's part of the fun is the hunt. Yeah, it's easy
Yeah.
to order online, but you'll pay a lot of money. Because I don't only collect wrestling toys. I have a couple of Star Wars toys, have a couple of superpowers, Kinder superpowers, and a couple of old GI Joes. That's probably more money than a lot more money. Some of them are vintage from '84. I got a huge fucking GI Joe plane that I bought last year at Comic Con. It's a couple $100, but there's a couple of things in my display cases. But the hunt is part of the fun. But vintage is different. We're not talking about vintage here. We're talking about like this era action figure, the one that comes out by Mattel, are really the best they made. You just can get lost to it. But there's so many. Like I want to have the Road Warriors because their accessories look so cool. And when you do photo shoot with them, it does not even look like toys. It looks like reality in a way.
It's funny that
It's really geeky. Like we're really dwelling into a fucking nerd hole here, but I like it.
No, there's a difference. Nerds are aware, geeks are not aware
Okay, we're nerds.
that they're nerds. It's funny that you bring up the thrill of the hunt, and I'll kind of bring this as an example. And I was talking about with somebody not too long ago, but for me, the thrill of the hunt would be, I would remember there would be like a movie that I want to watch or a movie that I want to see, and then I would have to go to like Blockbuster to see if I could buy it there, and if they didn't have it, I'd have to go to Rogers Video and see if they had it. I'm kind of exhausting my possibilities, and I'd end up at pawn shops and other video stores. And I'd always remember the excitement I'd see when I'd scan the movie rack, and I'm like, fuck, yes, I can buy it. It's here.
Yep.
You don't have that anymore because I'll just get up and I'll walk to my computer and I'll go to Torrent Day, or I'll go to, something and just type in the fucking name of the movie, to the point where, like, about 2 years ago, I sold all my movies to The Beat Goes On for like the tune of $350. You know what I mean? So you don't have the thrill of that anymore, but I 100% get the thrill of the hunt. How you're going from store to store, and then you're like, oh, I can't find it, and then all of a sudden you get to that one place. Might be like a pawn shop, it might be something off the radar, and you're like, fuck yes, they got it
You
here.
know, wondering why kids are so impatient nowadays. When we were a kid, we were bred not to shred, but we were bred to wait and bred to be patient because everything took time. You ordered something on phone or catalog, it took 6 fucking weeks, if not months. Even when you go to the store, I don't know if anybody were gonna remember that stores. The Consumers, what was the name?
Consumers Distributing. I used to have one right down the street
Best
from me.
and the worst store ever, because you go there, you look at the catalog, oh shit, they have all the fucking toys I want. They have the collection that I see on TV. They have the freaking, they have the Motu, which is Masters of the Universe. They have Motu, GI Joes. They have a fucking everything. They got a Crystal Skull. All right, I'll take this. I'll take this. I'll take this. Fine, you'll get it in 1 year and 2 weeks. What? I don't want to wait. That's the thing. Everything took time and you needed to wait. People had pen pals back then. That you took a letter, you wrote on with a pen, and you sent it by the mails. And a month and a half later, you would get a response. Now,
From a person you never even met, by the way.
and now people are mad when you take 2 minutes to answer a text message.
Yeah, I know, or because people automatically think that people have their phones in their hand 24 hours a day.
Yep. All the kids will never get the joy of buying a bubblegum pack, looking at the other side and seeing, what? If I get 30 packets of that bubblegum, I can send them in and receive a spaceship? An actual spaceship? I'll be able to go to space. Fuck yeah, Mom. I need to buy 30 packs of gum. Okay. There you go, buddy.
You know what? And another thing I brought up to a friend of mine, we were talking about it again, is nowadays kids will never get the joy or the thrill or the excitement of finding their dad's like dirty magazine collection
Yeah.
because they can just go on the internet and find whatever they want.
We're the last generation that got two things. There's two stories that every man, I think you have to say, safely say 27 and up. Well, this last generation of men that experienced those two things. Yes, fighting your dad's under the mattress on top of a high shelf, or your dad's porn stack, or
Yep.
fighting a dirty playboy in the woods.
Yep. And yeah, I've done both. I
We
mean, I
all
remember
found
finding.
porn in the woods.
Yeah, what the fuck were they doing out
I
there?
found weird things in the woods. I found like porn but cut up, and some of them with no heads. It's like creepy shit that I found in the woods back then. Inside of a tire. Like, what the fuck? It's always inside of a tire in the woods.
It's just odd things. But you know, it's
Yeah, but
funny.
there's no
I'm
more
sure.
woods anyways nowadays, Rob.
Well, I was gonna say that there. Who goes to the woods because it's not around? I don't know.
There's no more woods anymore. We've come a long way from talking about wrestling and then wrestling toys in our society. But as a whole, collecting toys I think is pretty cool because, you know, the thrill when you're a kid. No, I'll tell you right now why I love collecting toys, and it's going to sound really philosophical. And it's one of the reasons why I do this. And it's totally a shoot. It's not a work. It's totally a shoot. But, you know, sometimes in life, when you have hardship, when things don't go your way, and when you're not the type of person you remember in your head that you were, or that you think you are, or that you want to be, you need to go back in your mind and remember when you were that person, when you had that feeling that you felt great about yourself. And anything you can do to reconnect with that instant, that maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, last week, whenever it was in your life, that little moment, instant, you felt great, there's always going to be a song surrounding that. There's always going to be something in the background, a toy, perhaps, a scent, an image. And even if it's 30 years later, whatever you can do to reconnect to that moment, that instant that you felt great, well, automatically you'll be back to that moment and you will feel great. And eventually you'll start to re-found that person. And a couple years ago, I started doing this. And that's why you hear a jovial Kevin ever since then, a couple years ago.
And it's funny. I don't know what it is for me, and that's actually pretty good advice, Kevin, because I've been kind of searching for that for a long time. You know, because I don't know what it is for me, and maybe for me it will be collecting wrestling toys or something along those lines. You know, so I will make it my goal this year to find out what that is, and I like that because that's a great way to put
And
it.
it's a weird way because there's something weird with the generation, people of our age, and it's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just our common friends we see on Facebook that post those kinds of things. We're a generation that's been more introspective than the one prior, and a lot more than the one that's coming up. But we're longing for something. We're all nostalgic. We're all looking for something that we missed. And wrestling is one of those things. And it's just like something, we all feel something just left and it isn't coming back. I think the soul of the planet is gone. I know that sounds really esoterical, but what I mean is I don't find meaning in stuff anymore. And that's why sometimes I need to go back and look and listen to things that had meaning, even if that meaning was simple or for simpletons. Still, when it makes sense, sometimes it makes the world make sense.
I wish there was a way, Kevin, you could. I wish there was a way you could tell that you were in the good old days before you've actually left them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but then it wouldn't be the good old days.
That's just it. You never know.
Remember when
Because
your kids
it's
said,
funny.
"Hey, you'll remember this when you're older. You'll wish you enjoyed it." Well, fuck, they were fucking right.
And it's funny because like right now I'll look back on 15 years ago when I was in high school and like, oh, those were the best days, you know, I love those days. And it's funny, in 20 or 30 years I'll look back on the times, I'm like, oh fuck, I remember when Kevin and I were doing the podcast. That was so much fun. It's funny, whatever, you always look back on everything with rose colored glasses.
Of course. Well, if we didn't, we would really realize that the Attitude Era actually really sucked, and more than half the pay-per-views and the shows on TV back then were really atrocious.
but that's a story for another day.
I think it's about time to wrap it up on this very introspective, philosophical, and interesting Down the Aisle Wrestling podcast for you all today.
I would agree, Kevin. I think we've touched a lot of bases. Something for everybody on this edition of Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast.
And don't forget, Sunday, the road to WrestleMania officially starts with the Royal Rumble, and we'll see Monday how we feel about the whole thing. And until then, take that bump. We thank you for listening to Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast with Robbie Mack and Kevin Laramie on Stitcher Radio. Stitcher Radio, the podcast application taken to the level of perfection. Subscribe to the show on Stitcher Radio. Listen to all the Off the Woodwork Studios family shows, but especially Down the Aisle Wrestling Podcast. And that, my friends, is just perfect.